discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come my brother, come my sister, and let us build a nation together.
Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique together. I want to welcome you to the hub. And again, those who are viewing me on Facebook and YouTube, please share the live. Sharing is caring. Tonight, I want to say to you that the TAMCC workers, they are happy because you have a government who is very big on honoring the commitment or commitments that they make to workers here in Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. In other words, if they tell you they will pay you this amount or that amount, you can put your pot on the fire, it will happen. And workers will forever lose faith, confidence in the leadership of their unions, because what they're able to do now is to compare. During the NNP time, under Keith Mitchell and the others, they had to protest, they had to demonstrate, they had to make a lot of noise and beat drums and blow bubuzelas, and in other words, they had to fight for it, and yet still they were not getting it. But under the NDC, they are getting their money, they are getting the increases, their fringe benefits, the minimum wage was adjusted. They're getting all that they're supposed to get. In fact, the NDC is paying money that the NNP should have paid to these workers. And because TAMCC is very important, the NDC is not making any mistake where that is concerned. Like the NNP. The NNP messed up TAMCC. The workers were out there protesting for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks for their money. So tonight, I was laughing. If you were close to me, you would ask me, but why are you laughing, Kim? I was laughing because I heard Brian Grimes on GBN expressing appreciation to the cabinet of Grenada. I want him to open his mouth and make it clear that he wants to thank the NDC administration, thank the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and his team for holding true to their side of the agreement. And they've always maintained that. So the union is out there making noise, going out publicly and saying all kinds of stuff. But during NNP time, it was not them just going out and talk, They had to go out in the hot sun, call the workers out in the hot sun, and protest for what was rightfully theirs. Also, remember, under the NNP, for a good period of time, there was no intercall. No intercall. The intercall starts tomorrow, God's willing, but under the NNP for quite a while, there was no rivalry among secondary schools. There was no sporting rivalry among primary schools. Or for that matter, schools were not having sports because the NNP docked the salaries of teachers, the NNP administration, for going out and protest for their pension and gratuity. Lest we forget that, Some people forget things quite quickly. They go into a state of convenient oblivion. But I am saying to you, there were a couple years ago when we had no sports, no parish sports, no inter-parish sports, no inter-call, right? The secondary schools and so on. It was a different ball game. The NDC came in, and while some were saying, wait for the courts to decide, the NDC said, no, we will do the moral thing and pay back the hard-working teachers the money that the NNP administration took from their salaries. So again, this government has been true to the working people of Grenada, Carriacou, and the PT Martinique. So Brian Grimes was on the news tonight. I hope Daisy Hazard can go on the news another night and thank the government, because they're playing games, in my belief, but under the NNP, they got nothing. Right? If my mind serves me well, they got really and truly either very little or nothing from the NNP or under the NNP administration. For workers, they were all out there protesting, marching, and they were tricked over and over and over. They used them as, the bridge to get back into power in 2018, right? The MOU was signed and all kind of stupidness happened with the unions and the NNP.
For the faculty and staff at the T.A. Marisho Community College.
The GPW would like to take the opportunity to officially and publicly thank the Cabinet of Grenada for their decision to actually pay the workers for those outstanding years. We are not fully satisfied in that the cycle covers 23 to 25 and they're only paying 23 to 24. But in that, we realize that, sometimes there has to be some form of compromise, and ultimately we have to work collaboratively to find a way to ensure that workers attain a standard of living in growing inflation and cost of living.
President of the Grenada Public Workers Union, Brian Grimes. The Grenada Public Workers Union, GPWU, has expressed its satisfaction with the Cabinet's decision to approve over $1 million EC to honor outstanding salary and wage increases for the faculty and staff at the T.A. Marisho Community College, TAMCC. The announcement follows approximately 3 weeks after mild protest action by TAMCC workers over delayed payments of negotiated salary increases.
As of last cabinet sitting, the cabinet has approved the sum of $1,201,848 Eastern Caribbean dollars and 50 cents. To honor salary increases for the faculty and staff of the T.A. Marisho Community College as follows: 4% for 2023, 4% for 2024.
Education Minister David Andrew. He said an agreement was reached with the College Council during a meeting on January 9th called to discuss the challenges associated with the routine payment of negotiated salary adjustments for public officers and the Grenada Union of Teachers to be paid across the board with TAMCC workers.
And so I was a little taken aback and surprised when around independence or shortly after that I heard there were industrial grumblings and media appearances and utterances by some union personnel talking about government's unwillingness and wanting to pull back. And that left me feeling very disappointed, given the spirit of the discussions that we had.
Grimes responded to the minister's remarks, noting that the union did its best to not ventilate the 8-month-old matter in the public domain.
And I want to register the fact that the union did its utmost to keep this matter as private as possible, having sent at least 5 pieces of correspondence to the council of the T.A. Marisho Community College to handle this matter. No one likes workers grumbling, but the truth of the matter is parties have to meet each other on the half. You cannot have underpaid workers or workers whose salaries are frozen and expect them to be of high morale and highly productive, or just in a peaceful state of mind. That is something that would be unrealistic.
Apart from the fact that a collective bargaining agreement does not exist, Minister Andrews said there is a disparity in the application of the increases to the various category of workers, including lecturers, cleaners, groundsmen, which presents acute challenges in terms of sustainability. He said the ministry now awaits a draft collective bargaining agreement, which is to be developed by the union in collaboration with the council for consideration going forward.
Right, so that was Brian Grimes there. And I am saying to Brian Grimes, let us have a conversation on what the workers got from this government in the last 20 months versus what the workers got from the NNP administration in 23 years and a half. I want us to engage in such a discourse because it is very clear that the NDC administration is a pro-worker government. They love workers. They want good for workers. And they are demonstrating that in a very real way. They're not just talking, but they're making sure that workers are happy on the job, that they get what they have to get, what is rightfully theirs. So this is a good government to work with, right? But what we saw, workers sabotaging the government's operations. Some workers within the public service making it their duty to undermine this government. And we know more you treat some people good is more they turn around and treat you worse, treat you bad, because mentally they're still stuck in the NNP era of governance. They're accustomed to bad treatment. The good treatment that they're getting is surprising their chest. It is like someone who is accustomed to a certain food, and you take them out to a restaurant and you serve them something really good, and by the time they finish eating, they start throwing up. It's not that the food was bad, but it surprised their chest. They're not accustomed to that kind of rich meal. So we are seeing that within the public service, where you have some NNP operatives who are working overtime to sabotage, to undermine the government, but the government continues to treat them well. And the facts are there to prove it. One, the NDC came into power, and the first order of business with workers in Grenada was an announcement made by the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell at the swearing-in ceremony for the cabinet of ministers that teachers, public officers, those who the NNP docked their salaries. Remember, the NNP administration docked the salaries of teachers and public officers, take their money, went into their salary and take their money. Don't forget that. You forget that? The NDC decided we will give back that money. Boy, they came under attack from the NNP. NNP saying, well, the matter is sub judice. The matter is before the court. And as a result, don't pay. Wait for the court to decide. Well, the NDC said, no, we are not going to wait for a judge to tell us what is morally right to do. We will do it and do it forthwith. You remember that June or July or August or September, October or November of that particular year when teachers got back their money? I think it was July. I think it was a month or two after. They got back their money. The NDC made good on that promise, make sure that they get their money. So the evidence is there to show. When the NDC came into power, workers were protesting left, right, and center. And for many years, they did that for their pension and gratuity. Because those who retired after 3-4 years, they never get up 1 cent from the NNP administration. They were protesting, and those who knew that, boy, in the next 3 months, the next year or two, they will go on retirement, they wanted their money. So they joined together after they were tricked by the NNP administration during that particular campaign, in the lead up to the campaign. It was 2018 campaign, yeah. 2018, when all the union leaders and so on, they went into a room with the NNP, and the NNP tricked them. The NNP administration tricked them into believing that they're going to pay them their pension and their gratuity and everything will be okay. Well, when they won the election, they decided, nah, we ain't paying all you. Let the matter settle out in court. Right? But the NDC during the campaign of 2022 said, we will not appeal and we will honor the decision of the court. Even if we have to take a loan to pay the pension and the gratuity, we will pay it. When the NDC came into power, because don't forget, the NNP told Grenadians that it will cost this economy $1.2 billion to pay the pension and gratuity. Then when the pressure started to mount from them, from economists, analysts, mathematicians, statisticians, or just lay people, when the pressure started mounting, they turned around and said, no, it will cost Grenada $465 million. All right? And annually, it will cost Grenada $120 million. So it's almost $500 million. It's amazing. But when NDC came into power, all they had to pay was $75.1 million. In fact, it was about 60-something million. Just a little above $60 million. But the most honorable Deacon Mitchell decided, well, the police officers who were RC, Blue Stripe, and they retired, they were never entitled to that money, right? But he said, no, you work 30-something years, 40-something years, you are entitled to that money. So we're going to join everything together, and we're going to make sure you get your money. And then it reached $75.1 million. But the NDC paid that $75.1 million, and they continue to pay the pension of public officers who retired. They got their lump sum, which was their gratuity, and they continue to get their pension. Yes, they continue to get their pension. And I am saying it is very clear that the facts on the table is showing that this government is serious about workers and care about workers in the country. That is why people dislike the union leaders who come out and open their trap, attacking government or going after government for very trivial things and not sitting and discussing and coming up with solutions for the said problems that they're highlighting. Because many a times it can be solved by sitting around the table. Remember they came out protesting for some cell phone this and cell phone that for health workers? You remember that? Basic things. But I am saying to you, the evidence is on the table. The NDC cares about workers. And the NDC demonstrates that time and time again. The bi-monthly salary, the NNP said it was not feasible. So it can't happen. The economy will come to a standstill because of administrative issues. The NDC decided to ignore all of that and implement the bi-monthly salary payment. So workers are getting paid on the 15th. Workers are getting paid on the 30th. In some instances, they get it way before. And it's coming in very handy because you no longer have to borrow anything to make it till the end of the month. And the economy remains buoyant or liquid. So I am saying the evidence is there. We didn't see any march or protest or any demonstration for the 13% increase of public officers and all the fringe benefits and so on that they got. We never saw that. The NDC is all about making sure the workers are extremely happy. So this injection to TAMCC workers, $10 point something million over a 14-month period. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. In fact, I believe that more workers will benefit significantly as this economy continues to grow, expand, as this economy continues to remain buoyant, right, in the hands of good managers, men and women who will not compromise. I am saying we all will benefit. I went to a church on Sunday in a christening, and the pastor was absolutely right. He said, if this government succeeds, if Grenada succeeds, then we all will succeed. Our standard of living will improve. So we have to pray for the government. We have to support good governance. We have to support what is decent, what is right. Because we want the government to succeed. And don't matter who is there, we want them to succeed. If they're not going on the right path, of course, they have a right to say certain things. But what we have seen from the last election to now, the NNP consistently is attacking. Negative. They have not put forward one suggestion. They have not put forward one plan, one program, one initiative. They have not made a good recommendation for nothing whatsoever. I mean, they're good at criticizing, they're good at condemning, they're good at tearing down. But we have moved past that. We want to see a constructive opposition. Because remember, the opposition is a part of the governance structure of the country. So you're not only there to oppose or to criticize. You should also use your skill set your expertise, your experience to put on the table good plans, good programs, good suggestions, good recommendations. And you should assist where you can, because right now you're being paid $5,000 per month as a salary, even if you're not doing anything. Because the majority of these people, you can't see them, you can't hear them. Right? Those on the opposition side. A lot of them. I can't say all, but the majority of them. You're not seeing them, you're not hearing them, you don't know what they're doing. So, I am saying we need an opposition team who is constructive, who will make good suggestions, recommendations, and put plans on the table to enhance this country. Because if Grenada does well, if things are good, they too will benefit significantly. Because look, the salary increase or the money for MPs, they benefit from it. They get the $5,000 every month. So why then do you complain like that? Why then do you try to tear down or pull down or undermine this legitimate government and administration? So I challenge you today, because we know the unions were instrumental in undermining the Tillman Thomas-led administration. The unions, the majority of them in Grenada, they were instrumental in undermining the Tillman Thomas-led administration. You want me to repeat that? The unions in Grenada were very instrumental in undermining the Tillman Thomas-led administration. Also, the mainstream media was instrumental in undermining the Tillman Thomas-led administration. They cannot succeed now because Grenadians are seeing through them. In fact, if you do a poll right now, you would realize that the union leaders are very, very, very unpopular among the Grenadian people. Yes, I am saying this because all you need to do is to go on the ground, interact with the ordinary people, and you will get a sense of how hated or the hatred that exists for the mainstream media in the country, and also some of the union leaders. People dislike them. People realize that they have always stood on the side of the NNP. The majority of them, they have always stood on the side of the NNP, even if the NNP was actually the oppressor. I remember vividly when I did a program speaking to the oppressor, who was actually the oppressor, oppressing workers, oppressing them, and how they were actually embracing the oppressor, loving the oppressor. But we see that on a daily basis, in relationships. Yeah, if you ain't beat me, you know what some people would say? Some women would say it openly. If the man ain't beat them, the man ain't, right? Not only that, you would pick up someone or befriend someone, you clothe them, you feed them, you transform them. Things nice. And then tutus, they go back to their bad ways because they've grown accustomed to abuse. They've grown accustomed to bad treatment. They've grown accustomed to that kind of behavior. So we've seen that today. NDC is the nice government. NDC is the pro-worker government. NDC is that administration is looking after the people. Those ministers, they're accessible, they're on the ground, they're mixing, they're mingling. Before, there was a big barrier between ministers and the people. In fact, people feared the ministers of government in the past. They were afraid to even approach them. They thought they were demigods, in fact. And that if they go close to them, they might just fall down. But I am saying it's a different thing now. Everybody has Andy Williams' number. Honorable Andy Williams. Everybody has this minister, that minister number. Ingrid, and they could call all over the night. Text, WhatsApp. That's how they're doing it. Some people don't even have consideration. I was speaking to our true ministers. And they say some people don't have consideration for the time they're calling you. They'll call you 9 o'clock in the night, even if you have your family. 10 o'clock in the night, even if you have your family. They don't care about that. But before, man, they didn't even have the number. They couldn't even call, much less. But I am saying to you, it is an administration who cares about people, but you have a lot of people within the public service, within the unions, within the mainstream media, who working overnight to undermine this government. They're not succeeding because our people are more astute politically. Our people are more sensible and reasonable, more logical in our thinking. These things not going to get to us or succeed because we are able to reason this thing out. In fact, I was in St. George's on Saturday, right? When I came from Carriacou. And I encountered two persons. And they say, Kem Jones, but you know, sometimes we just listen to the NNP program, right? And this girl program, what's she name there? She used to be in she had doing here and so on. What's her name again? But Simon or whatever her name be, right? And then I met another person who said, oh, Kem Jones, you know, sometimes they would listen to that same individual program. And they say they're not listening to it because they love it, you know. No, they're listening to it because they're curious, right? They want to hear what she's discussing or what they're discussing. It's not that they're NNP, you know, or it's not that they're anti-government or NDC. No, they're not against. They're listening to it because they're a bit curious, right? They want to know. But what they have to say about the host is what would cause you to conclude that they're solid NDC. Solid NDC. So a lot of people are listening to those programs, curious, you want to know, you want to hear, but the hostess or hosts, they're not convincing anybody to support NNP or to be against government. They're not succeeding with that. They're not. So yes, they have a program. Yes, people will view because people are curious. But the majority of these people who view or make up the statistic, you know, the amount of viewers, are actually not on their side. They're not on their side. And they cannot convince these people to do anything. So I was able to convince a lot of people to get registered so that they can vote in the next election. Grenadians home and abroad. In fact, a good gentleman called me today. He said, Kem Jones, boy, we're coming down, you know. We're coming down at the end of June. And three of us said there was one who was NNP. But he said, over time, listening to this program, he became convinced. And he's now solidly on our side. And he wants to get registered. Right? He wants to get registered. And they're coming on, three of them. And Kem, we must link up and so on. It's a must. Because I wanted to make sure that we. And then on Sunday, a good friend called me. She said, Kem Jones, by 4 of us here already, you know. I said, what do you mean by that? They said they're here in Grenada. And they said they must get registered before they go back. So our Grenadian brothers and sisters are continuing the registration process. And remember, it's a pet project of mine. I say to you, you have to understand your role in keeping this transformation agenda alive and well. We have 10 to 20 times the amount of Grenadians here living outside of Grenada in the diaspora and who love the most honorable Deacon Mitchell and the NDC, who wants to see them succeed. And so far, so good. But I started this pet project and a great many people continue. They registered. They are persuading their colleagues and friends to get registered. And it's going very, very well. But I challenge those on the other side, do something. Take some initiative. They can't because they know that people are not even bothered with what they're saying. Grenadians want betterment for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. They want good for Grenada. Right? And that is what is driving everything. There is a heightened sense of patriotism. We are no longer regressing, but instead we are progressing. We are moving forward as a nation, as a people. So I want to encourage those who intend to get registered and those who are working on others to get registered. Do so. Continue doing that. Because we will mobilize all our resources to make sure that you come here to cast that vote. You are no longer the 16th constituency to just give or send a barrel with foodstuff and clothes and send remittances every month. You will make sure and participate in the election to guarantee that the transformation agenda succeeds. And I always say to people, the noise in the market is not the sailor. Because the last election, the NNP swear say that they were going to win 9 or 10 seats. They believe that totally. And I had to convince you, the viewers and listeners, over a prolonged period of time, that that's not so. It will not happen. Because I am a person who loves data and can easily analyze it and massage it. So I told you that will not happen. And so say, so done. But I did not just talk. I acted. And we acted. So I am saying to you again, this time wrong, it will take your vote to guarantee a even bigger victory, a larger victory. And that is what we want. What we want is a larger victory come the next election. That is what we are working on and working towards. What I love about those who are NDC and those who are just, lovers of our beloved Prime Minister and this government is that you're independent. You have your resources and you're able to come to to Grenada and from Grenada. You're able to travel, you're able to do stuff. You're independent. You're not dependent on some ticket to come to Grenada to vote. The level of patriotism that exists in the diaspora, it's not even using a word to describe it. It's huge. It's humongous. Right? And we will mobilize and make sure that our people come back home to support the transformation agenda. Because all you need to do is just sit and say, but wait. There are seats that are marginal, right? 150, 12, 200 and something. And all we need to do is to make sure that we get twice time that to come back and vote in that particular constituency. You're a Grenadian and we are Grenadian. We are Grenadians and no one can stop us from voting in our elections. None, no one. No one at all. You see? So I am saying all we need is to make sure that we get the numbers, because the NNP base are going to vote, the NDC base is going to vote, and the people in the middle are going to vote because they want this thing to continue. So it might be pretty close in some areas. So if we can get, and I am working on that, twice times the amount that we lost that seat by, I won that seat by, so that they can support the transformation agenda and guarantee a bigger victory. It is important. Grenada needs this thing so badly. We need NDC to remain there for a very long time to make sure that this place is transformed. It will be. Trust me on that one. I am very, very optimistic. If you don't know, let me tell you, I am very optimistic about the future of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Grenada will rise from the ashes. Things will happen for our people. And we have to stay steadfast and focused as we move along. Medical supplies.
Unused medical supplies that may otherwise be disposed of in the United States. Led by its founder and CEO, Daniel Boutin, the AFIA Foundation sources unused medical supplies and then donates them to third world or developing nations for use at health facilities such as hospitals, clinics, and health centers. On Tuesday, the signing ceremony took place at the Guelph Health Center in the presence of Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell. Ms. Boutin says the foundation creates access to critical medical supplies by successfully recovering surplus medical supplies, hospital equipment, and humanitarian provisions that they deliver to where they can be of aid.
We collect high-quality surplus medical supplies, equipment, durable supplies from the biggest and the best health systems of New York City, and we only send supplies that have been matched to requests from on-the-ground providers. And this is an important component of our work. Our goal is to strengthen the existing healthcare infrastructure.
To date, the foundation has shipped 12.5 million pounds of supplies to 83 countries, and Grenada has become the 84th, as the first container of supplies arrived in the island last month.
The container was packed with wound care supplies, supplies for primary, pediatric labs, surgical and urgent care. We had tracheotomy trays, orthopedic braces, and so much more, and the medical stores will be distributing. The fair market value for this first shipment is $100,000 US. The beauty here is that we're working with your remarkable Minister of Health. We can ensure that the supplies sent are vitally needed island-wide and distributed as such.
Minister of Health Honorable Philip Telesford noted that the partnership will assist the government with advancing primary healthcare services across the island.
This is extremely critical because it is no secret that there is a pull, or one might say a push, towards the general hospital in particular. Regardless of your complaint, everybody rushes to the general hospital. This initiative is geared towards assisting in transforming primary health care, which will indeed pull people back to the community healthcare facilities.
Yes, that's very important. That's the Honorable Philip Telesford, the Minister of Health, there speaking at that ceremony. And that's a good thing. What I love about the NDC, they're keeping to the fundamental pillars. They stated to us during the election campaign, they will prioritize healthcare, they will prioritize education, they will prioritize agriculture. And we are seeing today that they are living up to it. So we have a government that is accountable to the people. You know, before, the NNP would say all kind of old thing during their campaign, and when they win, they just forget about it. And Grenadians, a lot of Grenadians, will not hold them to any standard, and they don't have to account. The NDC, they always hold NDC to a different standard. They have to always account. But you have a government and a party that is accountable to the people. So agriculture continues to get a good boost.
This is something I love. I have about 9 to about 10 in all. So this is something I love. Just before they did this, right now I have a newborn about a month ago, and one is due to drop this month. I'm only sorry I hadn't met Frankie and them before they took the bull, because I would have done that to all. Yeah, because studies have shown that getting a litter from this breed within a year and a half, you could get up to 1,500 pounds of beef. So this is the way to go. This is the way to go. I expect to be to see massive growth, and to be honest, I really want a bull to keep the so if Frankie never come back, at least I have the breed. I think the professionals and them have done enough studies to cover the problem that was existing long before. So I'll encourage every farmer to get involved in the artificial insemination. Yeah. And I'll encourage them also to probably bring in the other breeds that will suit our climate, you know. I think this one is the Sansa got with us. Yeah. So I'll encourage them to, you know, get other breeds and just link me and I'm there. It is a good initiative, you know, because if we really look at in Grenada, I think from when I was a little boy, just up here, nearly every household had, you know, somebody working garden and stuff, and they had a kettle. Today, very few persons, it's just myself and maybe about 3-4 persons have animals, you know. So I want to encourage persons, and if you look at the price now at beef, I want to encourage persons to get involved. It is not hard. The animals might seem to be big, but when you take care of them and you show them love, they're very nice to deal with. So it is a good initiative that the Ministry of Agriculture and whosoever have taken to have this breed of cattle coming in the island.
Just a good move by the government, because I remember every Christmas, every big event in Grenada, you have to get cows from St. Vincent. The beef would come from St. Vincent or somewhere else. What we are seeing now is government moving in the direction to have us self-sufficient, having enough beef, good quality beef, or cows with good quality beef, so that, you know, it can be on our plates. I want to commend the government, and not just in that area, but they have been providing quite a number of training, financial support, materials, just name it, for farmers and fisher folks throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And if you ask me, that's a good thing, because agriculture was never a priority of the NNP administration. Nope. NNP was all about stupidness. But NDC is operating with a plan. I want to, at this point in time, take the opportunity to congratulate the women's arm of the NDC. I think they're doing a fantastic job. They went up to Carriacou. Boy, if you see women, kudos to you, thumbs up. Hilary Alexander, Elizabeth Fawcett and the team, the whole executive, kudos to you, take a bow. You're doing a fantastic job, an amazing job. I want to also say thumbs up to the youth arm, the young men and women of the National Youth Movement within the NDC. You all are doing a good job. I had the opportunity to, you know, meet you all, take a pic, take a photo there. All right. I was really, really pleased to see that you're out in your numbers in Carriacou, teaming up with the women's arm. Keep doing what you're doing. All right. Stay on that track. I really love it. Because you see, the NDC is an organized party. The NDC is not like NNP. You know, NNP is chaka. NNP going through real problems. NNP is a mess right now, a wreck. But the NDC's women's arm, youth arm, welfare group, diaspora support groups, NDC New York chapter, NDC Miami chapter, NDC London chapter, NDC everywhere, Toronto chapter, and so on. They're all very active. They're all, getting stuff done. So the young men and women within the NDC, they are not getting left out or left behind. They are doing their due in every constituency. So I want to applaud them. I'm really happy to see that they're taking the next step. I always say to people, the NDC is a more organized party than the NNP. Some people used to doubt, Yeah. They used to doubt and say, well, NNP said it. The minute time NNP out of power, you see their true nakedness. Look at them. They can't get nothing done. Not even the convention, not even the general council, nothing. Not even a fundraiser. Nothing whatsoever. They cannot get it done. But the NDC, time and time again, is demonstrating that they're organized and that they're well financed and that things are happening, that the different arms of the party is extremely active. They're getting the job done. And that is what a political organization should do, and that is how it should be, right? Organized and the different arms doing their thing. Look at the NNP, just and look, I remember a gentleman, I don't know if it was Jamaica or Barbados, he said, if you have a disorganized party, you cannot run country. If your party is disorganized, if your party is in shambles, if you're fighting for leadership within your party and you have chaos there, all that you would create for the country is chaos and confusion, instability, problems. So your party must be organized. Your party must show the nation that they could, manage the affairs of their party before country, because they can't want to manage country and the party is in a mess. That is what is happening to the NNP now. It's a wreck. It's a mess. It's an old piece of thing that can't get fixed. Real problems over there. They're fighting for leadership. But look at the NDC. Everything they organize is successful. Everything they organize, very successful. But folks, I want to encourage all the arms of the party, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Remain focused and do what you're doing and watch. Anytime you have anything to advertise or promote, any event, send it to me and I will promote it. Tell people about it so that they can come out and support it. All right? Take good care. Have a wonderful night. I will be back with you tomorrow, God's willing, starting from 8 in the AM, the dynamic hour. Don't forget that, 8 to 9 from morning and 8 to 9 in the night. Good? So have a wonderful day. Take good care.